What's up, everyone? This is the Sherlock Holmes Baker Street apartment by Pantasy, and I think that this could be the best brick-built modular building ever made. Keep watching to find out why. This is set number 85014, and it comes with 3,087 pieces, 5 minifigures, and retails for $105 on Amazon or $159.99 on Pantasy's website. And let me tell you guys, this set is phenomenal. It's beautiful. Look at the exterior. It looks great. Pantasy is one of the brands that doesn't steal from LEGO. It doesn't steal from Rebrickable. They have their own designers, and this set is officially licensed by the Arthur Conan Doyle estate. So there are so many Easter eggs from the show, from the books that are inside this, and I'm really excited to show you the rest. But before we get into that, I just wanted to say thank you to the Pantasy team because they gave me a big discount on the set so I could review it for this, guys. This video isn't sponsored, but I just wanted to shout them out for that discount. So let's jump into the rest of the review. Right off the bat, this set comes in at a great price tag at $105. I bought it on Amazon. That's where I would recommend buying it since Pantasy's website is more expensive, but you can buy from either option. Now, I've always wanted to get into LEGO modular buildings, but I've never wanted to spend 200 plus bucks on a set. So having a set like the Baker Street apartment is great because it allows me to get into the modular game without having to spend 200 plus dollars on a set. 3 of the official LEGO modular buildings that are in a similar piece count range are the Sanctum Sanctorum, the Jazz Club, and then the Boutique Hotel. And all those are double the price of the Baker Street apartment. In fact, I was able to order 2 of Pantasy's modular buildings for less than the cost of 1 of LEGO's modular buildings. Speaking of which, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss next week when I review the Pantasy Bakery.
The final appearance of this set is amazing. It would fit right at home with the LEGO modular buildings. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference that this wasn't official LEGO, and it's amazing. The attention to detail is just like a LEGO design would be. It's got the ivy in the front going across the railings. It's got the plants hanging from the wall. It's got the pigeon nestled in the flower bed under the windowsill. All this detail, even the just pieces that are used to give, like the crescent rolls used to give like a little extra detail on the window. That's amazing. We're going to start on the ground floor. This cafe is modeled after the cafe Speedy's from the show, and it's not identical, but you can definitely tell they took inspiration from it. If you go into the inside, you can take a look and you see you have 4 different tables with ketchup mustard bottles on them. You have 4 chairs at each table. You have a coffee machine. You have it looks like a soft drink machine, I can't really tell, and then you have a donut wall, and then a pastry display, and then the sink. There's so many details packed in here. I love it. The coffee machine is probably my favorite in terms of the brick built detail. I love how it looks. It just looks, you can know immediately what it is, and it looks so cool. Really love the detail in that. And then these printed menus are really awesome too, and these printed pictures on the wall. This set came with, I think, over 60 printed elements, which is amazing. You wish that LEGO would take note and start making more printed elements rather than giving us so many stickers. There were 6 stickers in this set, but they were, for the amount of printed pieces that you got, you really can't complain about having to use some stickers. Moving over to the hallway is pretty bare, but it does have 4 pieces of artwork. The hat rack with the iconic Sherlock hat, and then a bucket for the umbrella, which I thought was a pretty cool detail. And then the stairs lead up to the next level. Moving up to the next floor, we have the living room and the lab. Starting in the living room, the living room's a little bit of a mess, which is intentional because Sherlock is known to be a bit of a slob, which is why he has Watson and Mrs. Hudson to take care of him, because he's only good at solving cases because he's so cerebral and he can't do some of the more minute details of life. So you have newspapers strewn about the room. You have 2 armchairs, which I really like the design of those, and really nice brick-built couch as well. On the coffee table, you have a teapot and 2 tea mugs, another newspaper, and then a chessboard, which looks really nice. And then the lamp is over there on the side. And then you got above the couch, you have some artwork and then a sticker that references the show. I forget which episode that's from, but that smiley face with the X's in is definitely from the BBC show. And then another sticker, I think maybe bullet holes when he was shooting the revolver in the house maybe. But again, another reference to the show. And then you have this really awesome fireplace that has a lot of details packed into it as well. I love that use of the element, the 1x1 brick with the little flare coming off of it. I'm not sure the exact name, but I really like how that piece is used. It makes this look a lot like a mantle from a fireplace, and I really appreciate those little tiny details that this set incorporated. The bookshelf, oh man, I love the bookshelf. The bookshelf has different textured books, and it looks like some are pulled out and some are pushed in, some are missing. Just love how that was built. One of my favorite parts of this room, and just adds another level of detail to the build. Again, I'm harping on the details because I was so impressed with how detailed this build was. And then you have the rug that the armchairs are on, just to add a little bit of color to the room as well. So moving into the lab. The lab is in the kitchen, and the lab table is pushed right up against the stove and the sink. And this is a reference to the fact that Sherlock sets up his lab in the kitchen and doesn't do the normal things like cooking and eating in the kitchen. He does his experiments in the kitchen, and that's some of the comedy in the show and the book when Mrs. Hudson will find things in the fridge and freezer that aren't supposed to be in the fridge and freezer. So yeah, this is definitely a reference to that. And the lab table is really nice. It has a custom brick built microscope, which is really cool, and then it has the beaker set up where he can rotate his beakers over the flame, and then you got some bottles and beakers lining the wall as well. The actual kitchen, even though it's not used by Sherlock, is pretty cool. It's got a stove and some cabinets and then a sink, and I thought that it was a really nice touch, just the detail that went into that kitchen. Really cool idea of how to use these pieces as cabinets and as stovetops, so that's pretty cool. The fridge was really nice and brick built as well. And then you have this skeleton picture hanging from the wall also. Moving on to the upstairs, we have Sherlock and Watson's rooms. Watson's room is pretty barren. It has a dresser that's really well designed, and then a night table and a picture and a bucket for his cane or his umbrella. And I think this is like who Watson is, very put together, very organized ex-military man. Where you move into Sherlock's room and there's just chaos going on. You have things thrown everywhere, a stack of newspapers that shows that a lot of time has passed since he has last removed said newspapers from his room, which is pretty funny. And then one just thrown in front of his violin. The brick-built violin is there along with the music stand, and then the fireplace. I like the little candles on top of the fireplace. This fireplace isn't as well designed as the bottom floor fireplace, but it still looks pretty nice in this room. And then you have the string board where he keeps tabs of things, like he pins pictures as he's trying to connect the various dots for his cases. On his desk, the desk is really well done in design as well. I like the look of it. It's pretty cluttered. You have a lamp, a typewriter, and then a map and a book on top of the map, and then a little coffee mug sitting there as well. Sherlock also has a bed and dresser over here. His dresser isn't as cool in design as Watson's is, but it's still a decent looking dresser. And then the beds are the same design, but Sherlock's actually has a secret envelope hidden under the covers. And I think this might be in reference to the woman who Sherlock in the show is texting and in the books is writing to. I'm not positive that that's what that letter is, but given my knowledge of the books and the shows, I think that's what it is. It makes the most sense to me. Moving up to the roof is pretty bare other than this skylight, but the skylight is really cool in design. I like how it looks. And then the front of the roof is really nice in terms of the detail, and it really ties off the build nicely. So there are so many references to the Sherlock show and the books in this build. I'm not going to get all of them, so you guys are going to have to let me know in the comments which scenes that you see or which elements are referencing specific instances from the Sherlock show or the books. The ones that I can find off the top of my head are the cab driver from Study in Scarlet, the pinboard from The Empty Hearse. The hound on the wall is reference to the Hounds of Baskerville. You have the cave in the back of the hallway. That's reference to the sign of 4. And then you have the letter that's in the bed, which, again, I think is reference to the communication with the woman from the show or the book. I think this set is near perfect, but I am going to give a few criticisms just because it's a review and you guys want to hear my thoughts on what's good and what's bad about this set. So everything about this set is great, but there are a few things that I wish it would have done a little differently. I wish there were more tiled off areas in the upstairs 2 rooms. The cafe was fully tiled off and it looks amazing. The upstairs, there's a lot of studs showing and I'm not a huge fan of that. It would have been nice to have more things tiled off on the floor in the upstairs rooms, but I get it. It would have drove the piece count up and made the price go up, so it is a give and take. I just wish that, personally, I would have paid a little more money to have the entire upstairs tiled off just because it looked cleaner, in my opinion. I also really didn't like the sticker going over the multiple pieces in the front on the cafe sign, and really annoying when you pulled the sticker off because I misplaced it the first time. It kind of ripped off part of the M, which is really a pain. This is why we should just print everything and not use any stickers. I wish that part, the front sign, was a printed piece because that feels like something that's really important that you don't want to have any errors on, given that now everyone can see that the M is missing as it's on display. So that is a big flaw of the final appearance for me, and that could have been solved by just printing that piece. And again, I would have paid a little extra money for that piece to be printed as well, given that there's 60 other printed elements in this set. I like the attempt at the brick-built violin, but it is pretty big and bulky. If you were actually going to use it for a minifigure, it looks great on display, but I think that I would have rather just one molded violin rather than having a custom brick-built one. Again, the roof is pretty bare other than the skylight. Would have been nice to have a few more extra details on the top of the roof. I don't know what they would have put up there, but yeah, the roof is pretty bare. Maybe even just tiling it off, again, adding more tile would have made it at least look a little less average. But again, piece count would have gone up, and it still looks fine, especially from the front when you're not really looking down on it. So can't be too picky and too choosy, because I really do think that this set is amazing. And like I said, I think this could be the best brick built modular ever built, So these are just very nitpicky observations from my point of view as I'm just looking through what I would have done differently if I was designing this set. The building experience for this set was amazing. I haven't had so much fun building a set as I did with this set in a long time. This set took me a little over 5 hours to build, and the recommended building time was 8 hours, but I was cruising through it. The instructions were clear and easy to follow. Once again, I was excited to have a LEGO alternative set with numbered bags and physical instructions. This made the build time much less than the 8 hours that the box said. There were no missing pieces, and there were a lot of really cool techniques incorporated as well. And it was awesome to see the Easter eggs come together, just recognizing some of the scenes from the books and the show. It was a blast to build. I had such a good time building this set. Pantasy uses GoBricks as the supplier for their sets, which is great since GoBricks is probably the best quality of bricks after LEGO, at least in my opinion. The build was super sturdy. There were no pieces that were too hard to get on or off. My fingers did not hurt after building this set, and the design behind it was phenomenal. I was super impressed with the stabilization techniques. I transported this all over my house because I wanted to show people in my downstairs. I built it upstairs, so I took it up and down. Nothing fell apart or broke. There are a few pieces that are a little loosely attached because they have a single stud attachment. Anytime you have a single stud attachment, it's really not going to have that sturdiness that you would like. And that's on the front window, the outline of the window, the white part. It falls off if you accidentally hit it the wrong way. But that would happen with LEGO too. That's not just because it's a Pantasy set. So overall, build quality is great, really sturdy, really secure. And when I'm pulling apart the modular part, so I can look into the building, see the different floors, everything comes apart easily. You're not breaking anything pulling it apart. You're not breaking anything putting it back together, and everything works the way it's supposed to. The build quality is phenomenal in this set. So this set comes with 5 different minifigures. It comes with Sherlock Holmes, Dr. John Watson, Mrs. Hudson, Inspector Lestrade, and Jefferson Hope. These figures aren't the standard LEGO figure. They have a ball joint attachment at the head and at the arms, and I'm personally not a big fan of that. I prefer the standard LEGO minifigure, especially if I'm putting them into a mock or into a LEGO city. I want them to look and feel like my official LEGO figures, and these definitely don't feel like or look like official LEGO figures. They're similar, but not the same. I do like the extra level of posability that you get with them. It's really nice to be able to move their arms in a way that looks a little more realistic to what you'd see in real life. So that is nice. And it does add some level of detail to the build. But again, if I'm putting them into a LEGO city or into a LEGO mock, I want them to look and feel like official LEGO. Now, the figures, they also don't all have 360-degree printing, which is weird. You'd think that they would print all of them 360 degrees or none of them 360 degrees, but having 2 with and 3 without definitely feels a little weird to me as well. These figures aren't horrible. I'm not saying, oh, they're the worst figures ever made. I just personally prefer the standard LEGO figure. You can get around that if you also prefer the standard LEGO figure by creating your own custom LEGO figures or by buying other alternative brands' customs of those figures as well. So there are some alternatives if you prefer that. It also was a nice touch that they all came with their own accessory. Watson has his cane, Sherlock has a magnifying glass, Strad has a revolver, Mrs. Hudson has a teapot, and then Jefferson Hope has a whip to drive the carriage. This set does playability and displayability really well. If you are a kid and you wanted to go back and recreate some of those scenes from the books, there are so many different opportunities because you have the lab, you have Sherlock's desk, you have his violin, you have the horse-drawn carriage, and that you can ride around out front. So there's a lot of different playable options in this set. If you're an adult, it slides right into your modular LEGO City for display perfectly, or just displaying it on its own. It looks great too. Or with the Pantasy Bakery, which you don't want to miss. I'm going to review that next week, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that. But yeah, fits perfectly into your modulars, and the only difference is that this is only 24 studs wide, not 32 studs wide. So if you're going to incorporate it into a LEGO City and you're consistently trying to stay with like a 32 by 32 build, you're going to have to add 8 studs of a side build into this as well, which isn't a huge deal. You create your own mock. It's a nice opportunity for you to put your own thing into that LEGO City, or find some rebrickable 8 stud with build that you can throw in there to keep the consistency in terms of the 32 by 32.
So to wrap this up, my final thoughts, I love this set. I've been raving about it from the very first second of the review. There are a few flaws, like the sticker that goes across the front of the cafe. Just having a sticker piece in such a prominent place when you had so many other printed pieces feels like a little bit of a miss to me. But that's just a minor detail that I'm complaining about, and I really shouldn't, because this set is phenomenal. The cost per piece ratio, the minifigure assortment, even though they're not the standard LEGO minifigures, it's still a nice assortment of minifigures that look great in front of the set, look great in the set, and very posable, very awesome. Just the detail that's incorporated into each of the rooms, the just little Easter eggs that you find from the show, from the books, just all those details just really bring the set to life for me. I had such a great time building this set and reviewing it, and I really am excited to keep reviewing Pantasy products because this is really high quality. It uses Go bricks, and everything about the set, again, I'm just raving about it because it was so awesome. I think that this is the best brick built modular building that you're ever going to be able to buy because it's an iconic theme in terms of Sherlock Holmes. It's one that's unique that LEGO hasn't done. It is really great quality in construction, really great quality in its final appearance, really great quality in terms of its playability and its displayability. It's a modular building, which is an awesome way to incorporate it into your LEGO City. Everything about this build is just phenomenal. A few flaws, obviously, like I mentioned, but 10 out of 10. Go buy this set. It's amazing. Let me know in the comments below what your guys' thoughts on the set are. Am I just drinking the Kool-Aid, or is this the best brick built modular building ever made? And guys, make sure that you tune in next week for the Pantasy Bakery. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss when I drop that review. It's going to slot in right here. I'm going to have to stand up because you won't be able to see my face over these tall modular buildings. Yeah, but we're going to do that review next week, so make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss that. And I'll catch you guys next week. Thanks for watching.